All right, let's talk about a crime that's costing businesses billions of dollars every single year. And no, it doesn't involve breaking down doors or some complex heist. It's a silent threat, one that targets the trust you have with your partners, and it can turn a simple, everyday invoice payment into a massive financial loss.
You know, when you hear the word scam, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Probably a sketchy text message to your parents, or maybe a phishing email that lands in your personal inbox, right? For the longest time, that's been the classic picture. But what if I told you that's only a tiny part of the story?
That's right. The whole world of financial fraud is shifting. See, while a scam against an individual might get a criminal a few hundred, maybe a few $1,000s, they figured something out. A single successful attack on a business? Well, that can lead to a way bigger payout. We're talking tens, even hundreds of thousands of dollars in one go.
These criminals are getting smarter. They're not just casting these wide, simple nets anymore and hoping for the best. Nope, they're using well-researched, highly targeted attacks aimed directly at your organization. They aren't just hoping someone clicks a bad link, they are actively working to get inside and manipulate your company's most basic financial processes.
So how exactly are they pulling this off? Well, one of the most widespread and frankly damaging methods is something called the supplier impersonation scam. And today, we're going to break down their entire playbook piece by piece.
The idea behind it is almost deceptively simple. A scammer just pretends to be one of your trusted suppliers. They shoot you a message, almost always an email, with one simple, totally innocent-looking request. Hey, can you update our bank details before you send the next payment?
And here's exactly how they do it. First, they do their homework. They figure out who you work with, who you trust. Then, they create a fake email that looks pretty much perfect. The whole con hinges on that simple claim of an administrative change. And if you fall for it, your next big payment goes straight into their pocket. By the time anyone even realizes what happened, that money is long, long gone.
So you gotta ask, why does this work so well? It's not about some super complex hacking. It works because changing payment details is a completely normal, routine part of doing business. It just flies under the radar because it looks like another boring piece of paperwork that just needs to get done.
Now check this out. This is where it gets really clever and scary. Look closely at this slide. On the left, you've got the real domain. On the right, the scammer just swapped the lowercase l for a capital I. When you're busy and just glancing at your screen, they look absolutely identical. It's a tiny, tiny change that can cost a company a fortune. And that lookalike domain, that's just one tool in their kit. They will copy email signatures perfectly. They'll figure out your payment cycles and send the fake request right when an invoice is actually due. And, this is a big one, they almost always create a false sense of urgency. They'll say something like, please update this by Friday to avoid payment delays. It's all designed to make you act first and think later. Okay, I know that sounds pretty bad, but here's the good news. Defending against this is actually surprisingly simple. It's not about buying some expensive, complicated software. It's all about building strong, reliable habits with your team. Let's walk through what those are. Here we go. This is your 4-step defense protocol. Think of it as a simple checklist that can stop these scams cold. It all starts with always verifying changes and having a little bit of healthy skepticism, especially when someone is trying to rush you. From there, it's just about making double-checking a standard, non-negotiable part of how you pay anyone. This right here is the single most important rule. If you get an email asking to change bank details, do not reply to that email. Do not call the number in the email signature. You pick up the phone and you call your supplier using a number you already have for them in your system, a number you know is legit, and you confirm the change with them verbally.
And please never underestimate the power of a teammate. A simple rule that says any change to payment details has to be signed off on by 2 people, that is such a powerful security layer. A second person isn't in the same rush. They're not caught up in the moment. They might be the one to spot that tiny little inconsistency that saves the day.
You know, at the end of the day, technology can only do so much. The absolute strongest defense your business has against this kind of fraud is your people. A team that's aware, that's empowered, that is your most valuable security asset, period. And this is the real heart of it. You have to build a culture where nobody feels embarrassed or feels like they're slowing things down for pausing to ask, hey, are we absolutely sure about this? That one question, asked without any fear of looking silly, is the foundation of a truly secure payment process. You have to encourage that curiosity. You have to reward that caution. So I'll leave you with this to think about. The next time an email lands in your accounts payable inbox asking for a quick change to a supplier's bank details, what's going to happen? Is it going to be processed without a second thought, or will your team be ready to spot the signs and make that one all-important verification call?